respondent here. I'm sorry, we have the petitioner here, but the respondent has failed to appear. I've waited to start the hearing to allow her time to be here. Again, this case was commenced as a petition for annulment. To obtain an annulment under Utah law requires an evidentiary showing of common law grounds for annulment, specifically that there has been some fraud or fraudulent misrepresentation, fraudulent omission, some fraud on the marriage contract. That's the purpose of today's hearing, is to understand the facts that would support common law grounds for annulment. Are you prepared to explain what those grounds are in this case? Very good. Could I have you activate your video for me so I can see you? Perfect, thank you. Would you raise your right hand, take an oath to tell the truth? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you're about to give in the proceeding now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Very good. Thank you. What is the factual basis for that would establish common law grounds for an annulment? Yeah, I thank you for that. This is a public courtroom. I'm not aware of any basis that would allow the closure of the courtroom. Utah Family Law TV requested the opportunity to appear, and they are, with any media request, I generally grant those. It's important that the public understand what happens in courtrooms and that we be transparent about that. That having been said, if you have some objection that you would like me to consider to their participation, I'm happy to rule on that, but it's not been presented today. If you want time to object, I'm happy to give you time to file a written objection and submit it for decision, and then we can come back at another time. Yeah, I understand, and if you have an objection to their participation today and you'd like to file that in writing, I'm happy to continue today's hearing and consider your written objection and see if there are other ways other than a public hearing that you might submit evidence to the court. So. Yeah, right. Let's do this. I understand. I'm very concerned if you can't, you're under oath today. You have a certain evidentiary burden to meet in order to obtain an annulment. If you can't meet that burden, you have to simply petition for divorce, like many people do. Is a more narrower kind of remedy. It's important that you're in an environment where you can speak freely. What I would like you to do is file a motion with the court, and that can just be a letter in writing explaining what your concerns are and why you feel like you can't speak freely. And then I will rule on that. Once you filed it, you can then submit that for decision. I'm going to continue today's hearing. It would not be a full and fair hearing if you can't speak freely. And so I don't know. They're a media outlet, and so I have no, and they're also not a party to the case, and so I can't order them to do or not do certain things. So what I'd like to do is just do that. I'm going to continue today's hearing. If you'll file your written motion as soon as it's done, and then serve that on the opposing party, the respondent. You need to submit that for decision. That will tell me that there's something for me to decide. And then I will decide whether or not you can submit your evidence in some alternative format. For example, like a sworn declaration, an affidavit. So if you'll do that, I'm noting you do have an objection to the involvement of a media representative monitoring a public hearing. Arguably, divorce cases, many divorce cases are not of public interest, right? They're very private matters, and I understand that. So I will entertain your objection, reach a decision on that, and reschedule an annulment hearing if we need it. Court's in recess.